Just that one little step gets you so much further than not trying at all.
To see that hesitancy, like, oh, I don't know if I should get this. It's like, ding, 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 that's the red flag.
That's the limiting belief, right?
Yeah, that's the one. It's like, oh, wait a minute. I think I shouldn't. That means I should. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Navigating. Here at Navigating, we explore how people from all walks of life are finding their way through today's complex and changing world. As we face our many challenges these days, it's incredibly helpful to hear from people who are encouraging and uplifting. And today, I'm privileged to speak with the beautiful online influencer, Ellie Mariyo. Ellie is a voice of inspiration for plus-size women, but really for all women. She sees great value in understanding the connection between fashion, looking good, and mental health. Hi, Ellie. It's really great to be with you.
Hello, Anita. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so you look great. I was inspired. I was laughing with you because I never wear dresses on camera for the podcast. I'm always like, I'm going to put on some nice slacks and a nice top. And I'm like, oh no, this is Ellie. I have to do something different. She's a fashionista. I better put on a dress.
I love the colors. Yes.
Thank you.
A dress is always, there's always a moment for a dress.
I think there is. I've seen some of the things you wear are just so exquisite. So,
thank you.
Well, let's start at the beginning of. Because it helps. I think viewers love it when they are like, okay, so she's an influencer now, but who has she been? What has she been doing? Like, what's her life been like? So let's start growing up in Mississippi, right?
Yes, I have lived a lot of lives, Anita.
I know. For such a young age, you have. I mean, I'm old, so I can say that, but I'm like, wow, you have lived a lot of lives already.
And it's always so funny because I'll look back and I'll be like, did I do that? Was that me? It feels like another person sometimes. So
I know just
grew
what
up in
you
Mississippi,
mean.
First 18 years of my life, did not we would travel here and there, we'd do family trips, but most of that time I really was in Mississippi the entire time. I got a scholarship to go to the University of North Carolina, Tar Heels. And that was my first time living away from home. So I was there for 4 years. And my last year, I ended up going to live in Spain. And that's where I became fluent in Spanish. It's my first time outside of the country. Aside from we'd gone to Jamaica, Bahamas, the typical places you'd go for family vacations, but never Europe, never further than that. So it was just amazing, new experience, opened my eyes to just how different people are.
Yeah.
And it just made me appreciate those differences. I didn't look at things and say, oh, well, they should do it this way, they should do it that way. And maybe that's just because how my parents raised me, but I've always been very open and very understanding that we are not all the same and we do not all have to be the same.
Yeah, well, that's a big jump to go the Mississippi to a lifetime there, college, which is kind of an enclosed environment, and you get to know everybody and they're on campus and whatever. But then to go all the way across the pond, as they say, and live in Spain. I had no idea you were fluent in Spanish, and I'm really jealous. I live here in California where I should be fluent in Spanish. You have to come out and tutor me, but that's really great that you've kept that up.
Thank you. It's actually been a little bit more difficult to keep it up in the last few years. But I'm also fluent. I would say proficient. My dad still says I'm fluent, but I'm also proficient in French because I spent a year living in Switzerland as well. So that was another life.
That was a different time. So the Spain happened first in your after you graduated or part of your senior year?
Spain happened fall semester of my senior year.
Okay.
And then I actually went home for 2 years. I thought about doing law. So I worked with a family friend who was a family attorney. Kind of wasn't really for me. So I ended up working more so in immigration law. And I was a caseworker working with immigrants to help them come to the U.S., help them stay in the U.S., and get all the proper paperwork.
That's a huge, important role,
Yeah.
So you did that for a year. And then after that, something pulled you to Switzerland.
So I knew I wanted to get my master's and I was really looking at international law. And I was like, you should get your master's in international relations. And after I got back from Spain, they had this like study abroad student return trip. So a girl recommended this school in Switzerland. And so I applied, I got accepted, and I actually spent those 2 years back at home fundraising to then be able to go to Switzerland and get my master's there.
Oh, that's so great. Where, Geneva? Is that where you were?
Yes, I was in Geneva. So yeah, there's four languages, right? Four national languages in Switzerland. Most people know German
Mm-hmm.
because that's the biggest language, but French and Italian are also very big.
Yes.
And there is a fourth language called Romanish, which is like
Right.
more of like a Latin. It's like
Right.
a Latin Italian, like what is the
The
word I'm
the
looking for?
the Romani people who, the slur to call them is the gypsies, but they are the
Yeah.
Romani people who have managed to maintain a culture in spite of everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and Lake Geneva, I was just there last year.
Stunning.
Uh, well, we were in Lausanne on the other side of the lake, so
Yes.
yeah. I know.
I was in Geneva and I lived in the Plampalais neighborhood, which it's kind of like, I'm trying to remember my geography now, but I was only like 10 minutes, 15 minutes from work every day from school and then later work,
Oh, it's
every
amazing.
day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, so your master's was in international relations, right?
Yes.
And you
Yes.
were working, did you stay there and work in Switzerland after you graduated?
Yes. So I finished my master's and I actually had gotten an internship with a United Nations agency. It was called the International Trade Center. So I worked in communications and events and later transitioned into what's called a consultancy. And I was doing marketing with the She Trades division. So that organization helps small and medium sized businesses in transition and developing economies get access to international markets. So I was on the division that helped specifically women-owned businesses in those countries get access to international markets.
Oh, again, it's like step by step. The work's been really important. So, women-owned businesses, Project Drawdown. You know about Project Drawdown? Oh, you would love it.
Oh, tell me.
Well, basically, it's based on the idea that the world's problems can be solved if women are educated and can run their own businesses. That
I don't doubt it.
bringing women into the real flow of life is imperative to change the world. And it sounds like that's exactly what you were doing. What were the developing nations that you worked with?
We worked in Colombia. Like, let me just say it in regular English, but we worked in Colombia, Argentina, Rwanda, Uganda, Ukraine as well. And this was back in 2017.
Yeah.
So we worked with mostly, Eastern European, African, and South American nations.
Mm-hmm.
And there were some like Southeast Asian nations, like Thailand, for example.
Nice.
So kind of all over the globe.
What kind of businesses?
It was things that I didn't expect. And there was so much about it that made me realize what a privilege. I know America has a lot of issues, but there are certain things that we'll never have to deal with or even understand or have to, get through because we grew up here. It would be coffee farmers, chicken farmers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was things that you didn't expect. There was a lady who had, and to this day is still the best. They would call it picante or like hot sauce, but it wasn't quite, it was like a hot oil.
Uh-huh.
And to this day, I have not had a hot oil that good.
Oh, is it sold here in America?
Not that I know of. I don't know that it made it here. We worked a lot with the Commonwealth, with the British Empire.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, British Empire. We worked a lot with Great Britain.
Yeah, the Commonwealth. Yeah. So maybe we'd have to order it out of the UK.
If it's still, again, this was 2018.
Yeah,
it's like, or this was 2017. It was so long ago where I'm like, man, I wish I knew what was going on. And I still have a friend who works in that. So we were interns together, or excuse me, we were consultants together, and she works in the organization still. And, there's a part of me that's like, if I had stayed, what would my life look like? Like, what's the work I would be doing? I think about that because I was so determined to have my own business after working in the United Nations. And part of it was because I just saw the impact that private companies had on helping to get things done.
We see it every day now, I mean, look at I mean, even today, and I'm just going to mention a few contemporary things. So, with the
Mhm.
Corporation for Public Broadcasting losing its funding from the federal government here in the United States,
Yeah.
I just posted about this yesterday. 7 private organizations have pooled their resources to fund the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, so that
And they'll do it every time.
yeah,
If
yeah,
there's a public backing that's lacking or it's being taken away or it's just, there's a lot of there's so much red tape, a mountain of red tape whenever you're dealing with a public institution.
yes,
So when a private institution can just come right in
yes,
and fix that issue, it can do a lot of good.
yes, yes. Well, so I mean, it looks like even then, here you are in Switzerland, you're focusing on women. You're focusing on
Yeah.
business because you want your own business, but you're focusing on women to empower women. And
Yes.
that's continued in your life, correct?
It's so important.
Yeah.
I just what you said when you were saying earlier about how the Project Drawdown,
Yes.
right?
You'll look that up and you'll
So
love it. I know.
I am. I'm going to look it up right after this.
Yeah.
But it made me think about this moment in the movie Crazy Rich Asians where she's at the wedding and she has, I forget who it was. It was the princess and she's talking to her and she says, she was like, I really liked the microloans that you were recommending for women entrepreneurs and women owned businesses in your country. And she said, what do you mean? The princess says, I got so much criticism for that. And she was like, I think your critics missed the point. When you invest in women, women lift economies, they lift communities, they lift families.
That's really great. That's
Yeah.
I love because that's a pop culture movie, That's
Yeah.
really good. People who aren't going to go intellectually diving into, Project Drawdown can
Mhm.
can and the drawdown refers to climate change. How can we lower the temperature of the earth?
Okay.
And I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the gentleman who first thought of this idea and came up with that terminology.
Mhm.
Something slipped my mind, but I always remember the concept, which is that women are the ones who, by living lives that are productive and can and help their community, and women are by nature givers, generous, whatever. Not to be terribly stereotypical, but it's true that
By nature or by nurture, right?
yeah,
Society,
yeah,
the imagery, right? For
yeah,
both of us, I think, and it may be changing now, but for the last, we'll say like 50 to 100 years, the imagery has been us as nurturers,
yeah,
givers.
yeah,
We're kind of learning to balance that more, but no, I don't think it's stereotypical to say that just because of the way society has conditioned us.
right.
So because of that, it does mean that when well, even outside of society's like conditioning, we've always been very community driven. I think women like
Yeah.
I feel that social media began because women just wanted to share tips with each other,
They
like or
want,
influencing rather
yeah, they wanted to
influencing.
talk to each other. Yeah.
Yeah, we
It's,
wanted to share best practices.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. And so let's go on with your life arc. What happens after Switzerland?
Okay, so after Switzerland, there's a few things in there. So I wanted to go back home because I wanted to start my own business.
Right.
So I joined this tech accelerator called the Founder Institute. Get accepted to that global accelerator based in Chicago, or where I was in Chicago at that time. And I learned just so much about business. I'd started a company called Date Night, and it was going to be an app that was going to help couples spend more time together. It was going to because when you go on dates, you get opportunities to see each other in a new light. You get an opportunity to communicate, to build that intimacy, which is so important in relationships. And I wanted to help couples like bridge the gap between their interest, their schedule, and their budget.
And so date night is for people who are already in a relationship, but they're kind
Yeah.
of just churning along day after day, working and coming home and having dinner and whatever. And this is a way to
Yeah.
break out of that.
Well, because I think it's, especially when couples start having children, I think it can be very easy to, you get into a routine and you sometimes feel like, well, I've already got her, she's already got me. So why do we need to go out on dates?
And you
But
also start forgetting each other. I can tell you from personal
exactly.
experience, having raised 2 children, it's very easy
It's the kids.
it's very easy to keep all your attention on your kids and forget, oh wait, there he is, or there she,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
My dad
we used to be a couple. Now we're part
my
of a
dad would tell me I'm sorry, no, go ahead
no,
if you got.
no. Tell me about your dad.
No, I would say he would tell us growing up as kids, he would say, "Let me explain how the hierarchy of this family works."
Your
he
dad.
was like, "I'm here, your mama's here." And he'd be like, "Y'all are all the way down here. Like you're not even on the board, you're not even on the screen." So he was kind of making the analogy or teaching us the lesson that like you're not gonna do anything to break up me and my wife. Like
That
we
is
are here
so great.
together.
That is so great. Keeping you humble too, right? When you're a kid.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like you
That's
are not our entire life, children.
Oh, that is so funny and so great. Well, and from what I already know about you, you were interested in couples because your parents are marriage and relationship counselors, right?
My mom
Therapists.
is a professional therapist. My dad is a coach. I would say that they're marriage coaches together because
Yeah.
they've coached hundreds of couples. My mom has helped thousands of couples. When I was growing up, our church had a marriage ministry, and my parents started and were leading that ministry for about 20 years. So it's so much a part, like relationships and marriage and understanding how to communicate with another person. It's so much a part of who I am, and I think that does go back to the way that I approach social media. It goes back to the way I approach conversations with people. It just goes back to the core of who I am,
Yes.
because there were so many principles that they taught us through the lens of relationships that are applicable to so many other areas of your
So
life.
many kinds of relationships, so many
Yes.
friendships, business relationships, how
Yes.
you treat the checker at the grocery store, all of it. It's all about relationship is how, and this again, I think this is women floating the world higher too, that we care about relationships. So we go
Agree.
into a business situation or just an interaction, the parking attendant, and we're nice and we try to talk and we try to keep things as
Yeah.
as good as possible. So the dating app, let's get back to that. The How did that go and how is it?
Okay. So so the pandemic kind of
Oh,
killed that. So I got back to the US in 2018, was in
yeah,
the Accelerator that summer. And then for 2019, I was working on building the app. And 2020, because a lot of it was dependent on external businesses and
yes,
being open, planning these dates.
yeah,
And so it just kind of, the pandemic killed that.
yeah,
I was also married by that time. At 2019, I got married to a man who I'd met in Switzerland.
right,
And I'm just gonna go ahead and say I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all know we are no longer married.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And there's a whole story there. But the gist of that one is I did not listen to my parents. And I know that sounds so crazy to say, but at the time I think I was very focused on like checking off boxes
yeah.
where I was like, well, we
Well,
met, like he's cool.
marriage check.
Yeah, marriage check, started my business check, like we got everything we need. Like, and so I was like moving forward, but if you don't have that proper partner, right?
Yeah,
Like marriage when it's right, when it's the right person, and not that they're perfect, right? But when it's the right person, it really can propel your life forward and move you forward as an individual as well. But when it's the wrong person, I tell people, I'm like, it can derail your entire life.
it can. It can.
And
Yeah, and it can really weigh you down. Well, and it all makes
yes,
sense in a way that you met him where you were living in his world, right?
yes,
And then you moved back to yours, tried to bring him to your world, and it just
and
didn't
it
work.
didn't work.
But it
It didn't
also
work
shows me how
exactly.
flexible you are that you did well in his world, right?
I appreciate. Thank you for that,
I
Anita.
just I hadn't thought of that before, but now I'm thinking of it. You managed to be in a relationship with him in his world with your flexibility, and not everybody's that flexible. So,
I sometimes think because I will tell my dad that like some of our strengths can be weaknesses too,
yeah.
and I think that's one of those that I'm realizing it's like great when it's applied in the right
Right,
circumstances.
right.
But I'm like I am again. There's so much I'm learning being at home with my parents and just getting to kind of relive my childhood, but like as an adult, now we're having conversations in different ways. But one of the things I'm learning is like, okay, there's some things you don't need to be flexible on certain stuff until you're sure this is the right person, right?
Right.
Until you're sure this is who you want to spend the rest of your life with. And the same thing with friendships, right? We're talking about all types of
Yeah.
relationships here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I am that way in friendships. So it was just very interesting to me. I'm like, why am I not that way when it comes to romantic relationships? And that's where we kind of get into my social media and the work that I do there.
Before we go any further, I want to ask, because I know there are a lot of people who would like to know what an accelerator program does and how that worked for you. Because people who are wanting to open their own businesses, they hear that term, but they probably would like to know more details.
So it depends on the type of accelerator, but this was an accelerator that was, if you were in the ideation phase, which means this is just an idea you haven't done any work, you haven't put any strategy behind it, there's nothing to show for it yet, but you just have an idea, all the way to they were like mid stage. So not really ready to raise funds yet, but like you need help in that business development, that structure. And they have other programs that you could get to, but this particular accelerator that I was a part of was for ideation through like mid stage companies. So what an accelerator does is it essentially teaches you, I won't say everything you need to know about business, but they teach you quite a bit of things about business. They ask you hard questions, right? They're like, okay, you have this great idea, but is this really a business or is it a feature? Like, who's your competitors? If so and so today added what you're doing to their, business products, you would be out of business, right? So they ask you tough questions. We also had to present in 2 minutes our entire like business. Every single week, we had to basically give an elevator pitch
And then
of our business.
the updates
to
every week.
mentors.
Oh, that's a really cool idea for
Yeah,
people who
to
want.
mentors.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot about consolidating. I learned a lot about financials with it when it comes to business. I learned about strategy. I learned about looking at your competitors. And I mean, it's impossible to quantify everything I learned during that experience, but I could take a business from start to finish. I could build out an entire strategy for a business and tell you, okay, here's where here's where you need to fix this, here's where you need to do that. And I think for me, I'm gonna brag on myself a little bit, but I think I'm incredibly like talented when it comes to branding and taking complex conversations or complex topics and just distilling it down into something that people can really understand and the average person can consume. So that's what it
That's
taught
so
me. It taught me
great.
all of that.
And again, applying that, going back to the fact that you were helping women with their businesses,
Mhm.
that knowledge is invaluable, I think, for anyone, women, men, anybody who wants to start a business. That's
Yeah.
and it's really, it's great that you have that these accelerator programs have someone that you can rely on to be there to share this with, because a lot of people,
Yes.
I think the problem that happens with a lot of people who are wanting to start businesses is that they are in a vacuum. It's them
Mhm.
and their ideas, and then it's them and their idea, and then they move forward a little bit, and
Yeah.
there's no one to check them. They don't have anybody who's checking on whether they're really making progress and taking the right direction or not, or have they gone way off onto something that isn't ever going to be feasible.
Right. You get that mentorship and
Yes.
that just like straight talk. I'm a straight shooter and I appreciate straight shooters.
Yeah.
And we got a lot of that in the accelerator. Like I remember it was the smallest thing on my presentation once. I was trying to show like how big the market was for, dating for couples. And I was like, this is a like whatever, I can't even remember. It was like, this is a something multi-billion-dollar industry. And for what we're trying to do, we could capture 256 million, right, in market value. And I just had the number 256 on the screen. And I remember the advisor literally saying to me, I don't even know what that means. Like you can't just put 256. This is just a random number. And of course that's difficult to hear in the moment because you're like, I spent so much time on this. But I'm always the person to go back and even if I'm mad in the moment, I'm like, oh, I can't believe he said that. I'm always the person to go back and be like, okay, but let's just like unpack this really quick. Like, was he right? Yeah, he probably was. You should probably change this.
Yeah, because and that's all about, being extremely clear and detailed
Yeah,
about what it is you mean. Because you
exactly.
leave, if there's not enough context, and you see this in social media all the time, people post things, there's not enough context, you don't know what it means. It's like, we need more here, or we're not going to understand what it is you're saying or showing. So, um,
That's the one downside. Like I love, love, love social media. I think it has done so much good in the world. It's given a voice to people who were left out of mainstream media for so long.
yeah,
But it is the true epitome of a double-edged sword. For it's so many great things that
yeah,
have been done with social media, and unfortunately there's so many not so great things that have been done with social
we
media.
see. Yeah,
And yeah, this part about where you get half the story and you just take it completely as true, or we don't go and fact check or research just to make sure what we're reading and looking at
yes,
is true and reflects the entire story, right? To get that context.
yes,
So a lot of times where people are getting sound bites or you are doing these insane hooks, right? To just get their attention, rage baiting, like I could
yeah,
go on.
yeah, exactly. And it doesn't, and it yeah, it doesn't accomplish anything that helps the world. So, um,
Exactly.
let's go back to your story before we're going to end up with social media, AI, and all the other things that are going on
Yeah.
right now. But I want to roll back a little bit more into your life and see what happened after the dating app.
So after the dating app pandemic, my husband and I at the time we were living with my parents when he first got here, and we had just moved into our own apartment right before COVID started. Literally the month of COVID, I think.
Oh
It
boy,
was
yeah,
March.
yeah.
It was March, and later in March it started, and you're just like, oh my gosh. And I know COVID for a lot of couples. My mom, she was doing counseling online at that point, and COVID for a lot of couples, it put them to the test.
It sure
It put a
did.
lot of couples to
It
the
sure
test.
did. You're
Yes.
stuck in a little box together day after day. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
A lot of people, to your point about how if you have kids, it gets easy to kind of like forget about each other. So imagine you've forgotten about each other and now all you see is each other.
Yeah, you're there and they're bouncing off the walls with the kids in the house. I knew people like that. They were like, so the kids are playing, they're out on our lawn. It's about 5 square feet and that's all they've got. And you know, oh man, it was intense.
Yes.
Anyway, yes, keep going. So then,
No, I was just going to say, like, during that time, I just started to really realize that, hey, you might have settled. And that was a very, very hard
yeah.
realization for me.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was settled because I didn't think I was worthy of somebody who does X, Y, and Z. I just don't think at the time, because we go back to me wanting to check those boxes. So I don't think at the time I thought it was problematic. I was like, oh, we'll just work through it.
Mhm.
Because the way that I grew up, my parents, hey, we work through everything. Everybody is trying to get better, right? If I'm
Right.
bad in this area or I'm not the best here, I am always trying to get better. But I married someone who we came from completely different backgrounds. And he also he was kind of a passive person, somewhat avoidant as well. And so he was not that person who we can sit here and have tough conversations, or even at a point where he was capable even of bettering himself in meaningful ways, or because that was one thing I know, I was outpacing him just from a growth perspective. Like I was, I'm working with my full-time job at that point, and I'm doing very well at my full-time job. And then I later in 2021 kind of get started on TikTok, and that starts doing well, just kind of dip my toe in it and it starts doing well. 2022, I transitioned to Instagram and started focusing on that. So I'm just outpacing him. And it's not about us being at the same level necessarily, but I do think there were just certain conversations that we couldn't even have. Because again, we had very different backgrounds. And he also never learned English. So Anita, that's why I am fluent in
Thank,
Spanish.
thank goodness you knew Spanish. That's all I can say. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, and I think it's so important. Different backgrounds, and it sounds like wasn't raised to problem solve on a personal, emotional
There's
level.
there's the word problem solve.
Yeah,
That's the word.
yeah. He wasn't. And for you, it was in your life all day, every day. It's part of your.
Yeah.
It's like woven into your cells because of living with your parents, being raised by them. So, what kind of what kind of business did you have? Because I still want to talk about how you transitioned to being an influencer.
So even with date night, I still had a full-time job. I moved to Chicago from Switzerland, and I got a full-time job working in recruiting for an insurance company.
Hmm.
And I was building date night at that same time. And, when the pandemic happened, I was kind of trying to see, well, what do I really want to do? I gave it my all with my full-time job. And I was kind of like, all right, I don't like where I'm in. I enjoy marketing. And that was something that for whatever reason, I never fully had understood. Like, you should have studied marketing, because my undergrad was in philosophy, my master's was in international relations. And I'm like, why did you not study marketing? Like, you you literally love marketing from the time I was in high school. My AP English teacher, just my 11th grade AP English teacher, amazing guy. He just instilled in us this love for language and words and how it's built. I was in that class in 2008 during the election, and this was, a historic election. And I
It
remember him
was.
saying to us, yeah, he was like, the person who wins this election is gonna have the best rhetoric. And then he's teaching us, okay, well, what does rhetoric mean? They're going to be a great speaker. We're analyzing literally the messaging during this election. And it just instilled in me this love of words, but also this kind of like deep respect for the power that words have. And we have to be, as with anything that is powerful, you have to be responsible with it and be careful with it. And I do feel like we've kind of gotten a little bit away from that, but I've always wanted to approach, especially something that is nuanced or you need context for. I've always wanted to approach these difficult conversations very carefully.
Right, right. Well, and it's interesting. You don't really need a master's or anything in marketing because it's already in you. Just, I mean, that's kind of, and as you're talking about, and I was doing this and I was doing this, I mean, the kind of energy, you have very, very high energy. So you're able to get all these things done. So did you, after the recruiting, then is this how you transitioned into working online or working in social media
So
or?
yeah, the full-time job really had nothing to do with social media. Like the social media, and this is why I brought in my divorce and my marriage at the time, because what was going on during that time, I needed an escape.
Yeah,
And so that is really where social media came in for me. TikTok kind of became an escape,
yeah,
making videos, meeting people online. I would
yeah,
go live.
yeah.
Like I have people who like to this day, if they hop on my live, I'm like, oh my gosh, how are you? Because we were talking 4 years ago on TikTok. And it became like a safe space and a community for me.
Yeah.
So I just kept making content.
I think a lot of people had to do that during COVID too. We
Yeah.
missed all of that interaction that we had in the world. And lo and behold, here's these amazing people that you can meet all over the
Yes.
world and become actually really close with them. So this sounds like that was the bridge for you to become an influencer in social
Yes.
media. And from the beginning, were you focusing on plus size women and fashion and that kind of thing? What was your initial foray into social media?
I did fashion, but I also did at that time I was doing weight loss content as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it just started to feel not me. And I started to I really through social media started to understand well, I feel like this journey really started in college, but it really came to a head when I was on social media. I dealt with a lot of trolling, a lot of like just cyberbullying. I mean, people will say anything about you on social media that, behind the screen, being able
Mm-hmm.
to hide behind a screen has emboldened a lot of people. And I came to this like conclusion. I was like, you cannot let these people dictate who you are. You cannot let them dictate how you're going to be in this world. Like you have to understand, how do you feel about yourself? How do you feel about your body? And at that time, I was like, yeah, I don't think this is me. I don't actually think I want to lose weight. I think it's just something I've always been told I'm supposed to do. And so I transitioned more so into fashion and looking at mental health. And I would say I don't really like the term body positivity because I feel like it is akin to toxic positivity. I don't think it's possible to be 100% happy with your body 100% of the time. So I'm more a fan of body neutrality and body autonomy. So body neutrality is focusing more on what your body can do for you.
Mm-hmm.
And body autonomy is basically, hey, we're all adults here. We can do whatever we want with our body. And we shouldn't be judged, or we shouldn't have people making decisions about our bodies for us.
And that's what, you and I obviously both know as women. There's just from the time, I mean, I see little girls who are 5 and 6 years old already posing in front of mirrors and,
Yes.
and sometimes frowning like, I don't like what I'm seeing. And I'm like, oh, don't do it, poor things. And this is we're under so much pressure all the time.
All the
It was
time.
hard for you, I'm sure, to buck that, to say, okay,
Yeah.
this is not how I actually feel. I'm saying this because this is what's expected of all of us. Yeah.
Yeah, it's what's in all of us.
Yeah.
That's the sad part about it, because I've been plus size my entire life, even in high school.
Yeah.
And so even though my parents like instilled this sense of self-worth in me, there was always something externally, right? It's like everything negative that I was feeling about my body was always coming from an external source.
You grew up in this world that was you, your parents, and this incredible way that they taught you to feel about yourself. But as soon as you walk out the door, there it is, all this pressure about, oh no, that's not how we feel. What you should be doing is this or this.
Going to the mall with my friends and having my friends who are literally half my size calling themselves fat.
Oh.
Like,
Oh.
and it's like, or saying, I need to lose weight, I need to lose that. And I'm like, well, if you feel that way, I should probably feel this way too, right? So you internalize those
Yeah.
interactions.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
it's also, you get it as well from what's not there. So at that time, not a lot of representation there wasn't a lot of body diversity, right? So
Right.
not seeing yourself in the romance movies and seeing yourself deserving of love, seeing yourself be the princess or have the knight in shining armor, whatever it
Yeah.
is, not seeing those things. Even I would say, I don't know if this ever applied to me from a business perspective, but like not even seeing yourself as like the mogul, right? The business mogul, the corporate baddie, like all of those things,
Yes.
whether like they almost unconsciously tell you, if I don't see it, then it must mean that I can't be that.
That's
And
exactly
that,
right. Yes, that can't be my goal. I can't have that
yeah,
as a
I can't have
goal.
that goal.
I can't have that goal because I'm not skinny, wearing Jimmy Choos and a tiny little
Yeah.
pantsuit and running the corporation.
But it's even wilder, Anita, that even if you are skinny and in the Jimmy Choos and running the corporation, you still don't feel like your body is enough. You're still told, oh, well, you probably shouldn't be eating this or you need to lose that. Because especially I think with like celebrities and just the way that their bodies, that's what I will say this. I will 100% say this. I will never, ever fault a public figure, a celebrity, for wanting to lose weight. And the reason being, like if we're under pressure, everyday women under pressure,
Yeah.
they are under 10, 20, 50 times as
Huge.
much pressure
Huge.
and dealing with 10, 50, times as much as we're dealing with. And I don't know how anyone could honestly withstand that pressure.
And when they do, we're so proud of them. The Jamie Lee Curtises, the people who are just like, nah, I'm not going to do that. It's like,
Yeah.
how did you stay so strong? How did you manage to stay within yourself and not bow to that pressure? So,
But it takes a lot.
yeah,
I think it takes a lot for a celebrity to not bow to that pressure.
yeah, it does. It does. And so continue on with the story. So then what happened then?
So after, where I'm like, where were we in this story?
You've discovered social media as this incredible place for you to express yourself, the true you.
Yes, the true me. And so I'm transitioning, I would say 2022, I'm really starting to understand what it means to be at home with your body, to love your body, to be confident in your body. And I'm also starting to understand what is it that I truly want. Because I remember telling my sister at the end of my marriage, I was literally saying to her, I said, I'm just in this moment in my life where I feel like I'm balancing, or there's two sides of me fighting. It's like this side of me that's who I think I should be. And then there's this side of me that's who I actually am. And right now they keep fighting. They literally keep fighting. And I'm going to have to make a decision because I feel like when you have that battle going on, staying in the middle of that can truly destroy you. It can lead you down so many different, like, just, life experiences or paths that you didn't
Right,
expect.
right.
And you really, I truly believe if everybody was living out their purpose, doing what they were created to do, I think the world could be better.
Oh,
Could
absolutely.
absolutely be a better place.
Absolutely. And that's the issue, is that where the side of you that is like, who do I think I should be? That's the one where we go outside ourselves. You said, I love what you said about being at home, living at home. I mean, this is our home on earth. We live in our bodies. This is
Yeah.
our home. And to not feel at home is really disconcerting and jarring to us some days, And so finding, if everybody could find that home within themselves, think about how much happier they would be and the way they would treat each other.
Yes. Yes. The way they would treat each other, the things they would do, the compassion, the
Yeah.
grace, right, that they
Yeah.
would have for
Yeah.
themselves and others.
Yeah.
It's just, and that's, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say this is how we solve everything in the world, but I truly do think that everybody trying to be something that they're not, and it's not necessarily their fault that that's happening, right? We're talking about society, right? This is more of a systemic issue, but I do think that if that, I lost my train of thought. I do think everybody trying to be something that they're not is keeping people from being great. My dad is like, he's like, don't let being good keep you from being great. And I feel like, yeah, who you should be is good enough, but who you actually are could be amazing, could be great.
Well, now that's an interesting concept, the difference between good and great. When he says that, what define that? Being good means what?
So when he's saying that, he's saying don't, like, just because you're in a situation where it's like, okay, well, let's say I've got my apartment and I've got this great job. I'm doing things that by society's standard are good, right? I'm on track.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I had an apartment, right? I had a good job. I was married. Like, we're on track, it seems like. But that was just good. I knew that if I got divorced, and it's kind of amazing how my life blew up after my divorce, but it's like I knew, just I could feel it. I was like, if I get divorced, my life is going to get better. It's going to be great. So it's like, this is good. You can sit here and you can deal with this. I don't know how long you're going to be dealing with it, but it looks good, right? Or you can let that go and pursue something that is greater. And that's what I did. It was an extremely hard decision for me to make because, I go back to my parents. They've been married for 40 years.
You've
Like,
been,
I
yeah,
was not expecting.
yeah. You
I
weren't
said, we're not getting divorced.
No, that wasn't how you saw yourself, because you'd been raised to believe problems can be solved. We'll work
Yes.
on it, but
Yes.
they can be solved if two people are willing to solve.
There it is.
And if one person's working alone, that doesn't work. So that's a really interesting thing, though, to tap into our own internal greatness, as opposed to, well, this is okay, that's okay, but that's all part of, I think, the same fabric of what you're saying, that when we live at home within ourselves and are comfortable within ourselves, that's where we can find the source of our own greatness.
Absolutely.
So then you continued on with the work that you've been doing. When I met you, what I saw you as immediately was this astonishing fashionista. And what I said in my introduction about you is true. Like, you give encouragement to women who are plus-sized women who are learning to appreciate and love their bodies in spite of the messaging that they're receiving. That's true, like we've just said, that's true of all women. So I look at your encouraging messages and I'm like, this feels really good, what she's saying. I can hear it. It's not just somebody else who, maybe feels she's too big for the world or whatever. And there's another concept. Let me think about this for a minute.
Okay.
Too big for the world. There's something I've felt about women for a long time too, that women make themselves small in the world. And being plus size means you're taking up more space. There's some,
Yeah.
there's something
No,
in
go ahead.
society. Yeah, I've been thinking about this for a long time, that women are taught to kind of shrink themselves and make themselves little so that they don't take up too much space. But
And especially if you're plus size,
yeah,
especially if you're a minority,
yeah,
because that was me. I used to do that. I remember one of my friends. She said this to me because I would be like, "No, I don't want to be noticed. I don't want to be that." And I don't know why that was the case at that point, but I was like, "No, I just want to go in a room and I just want to be sometimes." And she's like, You're just gonna have to come to terms with the fact that you are an interesting person."
yeah,
And she said that because she knows me. But if you think about it as like someone who doesn't know me looking in, it's kind of like I am big, I'm black, and if I wear something colorful, you can't not notice me.
big, black, and beautiful and showy, and
Yeah.
that's what I saw from the very beginning. These kinds of things you would wear, that you basically, you're telling these women, to stick with that same theme, you deserve to take up the space that you live
Yes.
in on earth,
Yes.
that you are.
And you deserve full lives,
Yeah,
amazing, fulfilling lives
yeah,
where you go after your dreams and you get the things that you want.
yeah, yeah. And the clothes, I mean, you're not wearing black. Think about how many big people in general wear black to try to see if they can disappear and look smaller. You're wearing, you're wearing bright colors, sometimes really cute, beautiful little low cut things, little strapless tops. And
Thank you. Strapless is new for me because I think that's the interesting thing. I never want to give off the impression that I'm like done with my journey, right? There's things, even like limiting beliefs, that I'm constantly pushing back
oh,
against.
yeah,
And so that strapless dress, I remember when I was looking at it, I was like, oh, this is cute, but like, she's got smaller arms than me. Oh, I don't know. Like, and when I have those conversations with myself, I'll be like, okay, no, now you have to get it. Like, you have to at least try it.
right,
And I think that's what I like, part of the message for anybody who's on that new journey of loving themselves, loving their body. Like, you have to continually try new things. That is how
right,
you elevate your style. It's how you elevate your life.
right,
And so if you do nothing else, even if you don't wear it out the house, you bought it and you tried it and you said yay or nay.
right.
Like, just that one little step gets you so much further than not trying at all.
And I think a clue for any of us is to find to see that hesitancy, like, oh, I don't know if I should get this. It's like ding, ding, ding. That's the red
Yep.
flag.
That's
That's
the limiting belief, right?
yeah.
That's the
Yeah, that's the one. It's like, oh, wait a minute. I think I shouldn't. That means I should. I should at
There you
least
go.
try. I should at
I
least
should at
try.
least try at the
Yeah,
very, and this is why I say my parents, like, I'm realizing they're right about so much, because that's something parents tell their kids all the time. Like, just try it. All you have to do is try. Just try. Like, we'll be happy if you just try. And it's like we become adults and we think these things don't apply to us. But
yeah,
I love having the, like, I would say I work very hard because we live, I mean, when you are growing up and the world that we're in right now, the economy, society, this, what feels like a little bit the battle of the sexes, like there's so much going on. And I think it's so hard to hold on to hope. I think it's so hard to hold on to just this, almost like a little bit of a childlike innocence
yeah,
where you see the best in people and you want the best for people. And I fight incredibly hard to hold on to that because I think we need that. I think
yeah.
I never want to get to a point where I don't trust people anymore. Like, I feel like I can't trust anyone. I never want to get to that point because we are not meant to be on this earth by ourselves.
Right.
We were born into a situation, right? We came into the world, yes, on our own, but we were born into a family, whether that was a chosen family or adopted family, whatever it was, we were born in, or even friends, right? We are born into a community of sorts, and then when you become an adult, you get to kind of create that community. So
Right.
I don't think we're meant to do life alone.
No, we're not. And seeing the
And I
best
don't
in
mean
each other.
romantically either.
No, I
Yeah.
understand. No, we're born into humanity, basically. And we just need to all give each other the benefit of the doubt. That's one of the
Yes.
things that I look at,
Yes.
with my own friends. I'm sure you know, every friend you have has something that bugs you, something that
Yeah.
gets on your nerves. And And I just always think, you know what? This is who she or he is, and this is how
There you
they are.
go.
And they've just got this thing. I have to accept that thing about them and see them as a totality, this whole person, and love them as they are. And that's
Yes.
exactly what I do with people, because it's like, well, I'm not
What are
going
you
to.
going to do?
Yeah,
I mean, you
I can't get past it. It's not going to be good for me to be sitting here in judgment of it. That's not going to work. So
yeah.
how about just let them have whatever that characteristic is, or whatever that thing is that they do that gets on your nerves.
And I especially think if it's not something that's like, because I do think the circle, the people around you are important because they
Yeah.
do influence you.
Yeah.
So as long as it's not something that is like diminishing
Harmful
who you are or
in
your
any
life.
way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
harmful. There we go. As long as it's not something that's harmful. Like I have a friend who is just late and I've known her since high school or middle school, actually. She is just chronically
Oh
late.
my
She's going to
gosh.
be late. Some of my friends still get upset about it. And I'm like, what do you want to do? Like
I have friends like that too. And I actually have to tell you a secret, and I hope maybe one of them will watch this. I fib to them. I give them times that are earlier than when I actually need them. It's like, and then I figure they'll be close to on time if I do that.
There you go. That's pretty much sometimes what you have to do. That's that adaptability that we're talking about.
Yeah, it
And
is.
we just this is crazy. I told my mom this the other day, and this was more so related to romantic relationships, but it might be friendships as well. I feel like we're at a point right now where we almost want people to come, I would say, come from the oven fully baked, right?
Yeah.
Be completely done developing as an individual. Whereas, of course, you want the baseline things, right? We want to have shared values. We want there to be compatibility. But to expect a person to be 100% perfect or 100% done with their life by the time you all meet, by the time you're ready to get married, I don't think we have to have that. I don't think
No,
that has to be the case.
I don't think it's possible.
And
when you're
that as
when
well,
you're young, you're still. I mean, you keep evolving. I mean, I'm older than you, and I continue to evolve. Also, I'm not done either.
Yeah, no, I think
and
change is one of
yeah,
the only constants there is. Like,
and then you do that with that other person. You get together with that other person, and you make a plan basically
yeah,
to keep growing together. And that's my husband
yes,
and I have done that. I mean, we've been together forever. I met him when I was 23 years old, and I'm a lot older than that now.
I
And
love that,
and
Anita.
and
See,
and we just, one of the first things he said to me, and I hope he isn't going to mind me saying, he says, "I'm a little messed up. If you ever want to go into couples counseling, I'll do it." And I was like, "Okay, this is the guy for me. This guy."
because that willingness, but
Yeah,
that shows willingness to
yeah,
grow. It shows
yeah,
self-awareness.
yeah,
It shows resourcefulness. Like just
yeah,
that one like statement
yeah.
shows so much. It shows a willingness to try and to be
And
better.
he
And
has been, and I have been. We both have been. It hasn't been easy, of course, because we did raise two very intense kids. But
yeah.
we're hanging in, and we're okay. And you have moved back with your parents, and I wanted to talk about that too, because I know that in today's economy, that is an option that a lot of younger people are choosing. I know somebody who's having a little ADU built for her right now because she's moving back with it.
What is the ADU?
It's a additional domestic something
Domestic
unit.
unit or
Yeah,
something like okay.
something like that. It's just another little unit being added to the building. And
Okay.
I think, and it could be a basement that's just fixed up, then turned into an apartment or something like that. But anyway, I just know that this is something that people are finding is important with the economy being what it is now, and young people needing to save money so they
Yes.
can move forward in their lives, because they can't if they're continually paying rent at the same time.
Yes, because rent is so high, Anita.
I know.
I was looking at my comments today because I've been sharing, content with me and my parents, and it actually took me a long time to even publicly admit. Like I would kind of hint at it, like, yeah, I'm living at home with my parents. Like it was just like kind of like a side to something else.
Yeah.
And because there was a lot of guilt and a lot of shame that I felt when I moved home, because I felt like this means I'm a failure. I failed at life because I'm moving
And
home.
that's another pressure. That's one more societal outside of us
Exactly.
pressure. Inside, that's the right decision for you. Outside, it's like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
I felt like God was literally calling me to move back home. I tried all last year before, because I moved back home like September of last year. And
Right.
I tried from January to September to do whatever I could to stay where I was.
Right.
And I got to this point like July where I was like, I think you're gonna have to move home. Like I think this is an inevitable, right?
Right.
It's
And
Thanos. It's inevitable. So I'm gonna be moving home. And it has turned out to be one of the just most unexpected blessings. And it took me a long time to get to that thought, but I have gotten to just see my parents in a different light. I've gotten to experience them, as an adult, like our home life growing up. It's like now, but now I'm an adult. Now we can have different conversations and we can go deeper in certain conversations, or we can go do things together, like go get our nails done. I guess we
yeah,
could do that when I was younger too, but it's just like you can do different
it's
things. We
just
can have,
different. Yeah.
it's just different. And
That Mark Twain quote, what was that? He said, I went
what?
away. He said something like, I went away and I traveled and I came back and saw my dad. And I was amazed at how much the old man had learned and grown while I was away. And
But that, no, truly,
yeah,
truly,
yeah, it's just,
they are people.
it's really interesting. Well, our son and daughter-in-law and my husband and I moved into a big house together at one point. And they lived upstairs, we lived downstairs. We ended up not staying there because we were sort of in an isolated community. It was the community that we decided to leave. But what we got from that was just incredible. We know our daughter-in-law like she's our daughter. I mean,
I love
we're
that.
so close because we shared, the space. We shared the driveway. We shared,
Yeah.
he
You shared meals.
yeah,
You
yeah,
shared television.
yeah,
You
all
shared
kinds of
so
things
much.
that as adults, 4 adults living together, it was just really lovely. I'll always think back on it as an incredibly special time. So, and you and your parents have started a podcast. Is that correct?
Yes, that is.
About
And it's
relationship.
Yes, and I've been trying to convince them for the last year because my mom, she sees so much in the counseling room. I'll just ask her something random and she'll be like, okay, why don't you just try this? Or why don't you do this? Like, they've helped so many people and they know so much. It's like almost to the point. I told my dad this the other day. I wasn't blaming him for my divorce, but I was kind of like, listen, you all made this look incredibly easy. Like, you
Yeah.
made this look incredibly easy. And I know that wasn't your intention. I mean, of course, I saw my parents have disagreements, this and that, but my parents always presented a united front. Like they would go and they tell me these things now that I'm older, but they're like, yeah, when you guys were acting up, when your mom and I would go in the room, we'd take a moment. That was us developing a plan because we had to be on the same page before we came to
So
you.
smart. So smart.
Yeah.
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 And so it's I lost my train of thought.
They're going to impart this wisdom to the public.
Thank you. I'm like, yes. So they're finally listening to me and they are going to launch this podcast. And I will tell you, this is not their first time having a podcast. They started in 2014 with one. I think they were too early,
They were way
but
ahead of their time. There
they
wasn't
were
even that
way
much of a
ahead.
market for it at that point.
There was no they still had to explain to people what podcasts
Yeah.
were at that time. So they started a little bit early. And then, I'll be honest about this. My dad, he kind of got discouraged when
Mm.
they would like meet with couples and they would talk with couples because he just saw so many people like session after session who were unwilling to change, unwilling to be better. It's like your spouse is literally telling you this and you're saying like, are you even listening to them? Like he got so discouraged at the lack of people really willing to put in the hard work that marriage requires, because marriage is hard work. Relationships in general are hard work. And I don't know why we have this false idea that, oh, well, once you're married, it should be easy. If
Well,
anything, it gets
yeah,
harder.
it is. And I think I'm sometimes hesitant to call it hard work because it drives people away. It makes people feel afraid to do it. But at the same time, I think when we define what hard work means, that means
Mhm.
you stay attentive, you stay present, you stay alert.
Yes.
And one of the things I know it's in my marriage is that I've always known he was doing the very best he could, that he
Yes.
was
Oh,
absolutely sincere and doing the very best he could in that moment. Whether I liked it or not, that was 100% of who he was in that moment.
Anita, you hit on something that it drives my parents crazy. My parents say all the time, marriage, relationships, they are not 50-50. They are each person doing 100% of their part of the
Right.
best that they can do.
Yes. Yes. That's really, really true. Do you think your dad, what's changed? Has something changed in the way people are with each other for your dad, or what's going on for him that he can do it again?
No, I think I just wore him down.
Oh, good.
But you know what's funny is and this is how I know he's actually very excited about it, because if my dad doesn't want to do it, then it's kind of like, okay, well, you tell me what you want and I'll do this and okay, I'll do that. But he has completely taken the reins.
Oh,
I'm
good.
the producer, social media manager.
Yeah.
I gave him some topics and things to talk about, but he's in it. He's like present, and he sees what I've been trying to get him to see for the last year, which is like, you all have such a unique perspective. You have such similar to how I approach my content, right? You account for the nuances and you give the context, and you're addressing and talking about things that people really need to hear right now, because again, that battle of the sexes, I hate to see just the way that men and women were like attacking each
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
now. And it's like
Yeah.
we're trying to get on the same page and we just keep missing it. And so
Right.
I feel like oh, go ahead.
It's just going to be so helpful for people. And I was just going to say, you've been a huge inspiration for them because you keep doing this. You keep putting out content. You keep telling women, feel good about yourselves. And, you alluded to something about cyberbullying
Mhm.
earlier, and I wanted to check in with you and see what has changed. Has anything changed in social media in the last 5 years, or what do you think about the way that I mean, we're aware of bullying and we're aware of all the negative commentary. Are women and people in general, you think, is it easier for them to tune it out now than it was before because they're sick of it or more used to seeing it, more aware?
I think there is, there's more awareness. I think people, I don't know if they're used to dealing with it, but I think they do deal with it because now there's more of a community around it. There's more information on how to deal with it.
Right.
But if you're someone starting out, on like for the first time, I tell people, I'm like, trolling, cyberbullying, like it's just the name, it's a part of the business. It's a part of this, like you have to think of yourself as a business, as a brand. Like, this is one of those things that you're going to have to deal with in your business. Like the same way that you need to balance your finances or whatever it is, like this is unfortunately something that's going to happen. But going back to that awareness piece, people need to understand, and I don't know the exact percentage, but a large number of accounts online are just bots.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they're bots. Most of the time, when people who comment negative things on my posts, they almost never have a profile picture. If
Right.
they do, it's
Right.
like something random,
Yeah.
and they almost never have any post, or
Right.
their account's private. So I'm
Right.
like, this is unfortunately, like in my opinion, I'm like, this is someone who is a coward,
Right.
and I almost feel I pity those people. I think that's the approach I take with it. It's a little bit more compassionate, a little
Yeah.
bit more like, I kind of pity you, because if you were feeling so bad today that the only way you felt you could make yourself feel better was to say something mean to me, then you have way more problems and way more issues than I must be dealing with right now,
Right. And I'll
because
still hit the delete button and not,
yeah, and
and
I'll
not,
still hit the delete button or I'll block them, like
yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
So we do have more tools. We have
Yes.
there's more awareness, there's more information. Um, but I also, this is my thing. I feel like the solution, because I'm very solutions oriented. I hate talking just about problems. So if there were a solution to this, I truly do not believe that anyone should be allowed to be anonymous online.
Right.
we have to start remembering that there is another human being on the side of that. And that starts with you not being able to hide behind a screen.
So agree with you 100%. And so because of the kind of advice and beauty that you represent for women in all the gorgeous fashion that you portray, do you get feedback from women saying, this has really helped me, or how do I, but also about bullies, how do I deal? Do you give them advice about the trolls, the bullies, the mean stuff that gets said? Because,
Yeah. If it's usually it's another creator, right, that's
yeah,
dealing with the trolling, the
yes,
bullying.
yeah,
For people who aren't content creators or influencers online, a lot of times it can be family. It's like, hey, I'm dealing with this with family, and I'll
mhm,
give them advice on how to approach that. Talk about like setting boundaries,
right,
like just things that I had to learn. And I guess with my parents it's a little bit different, but things that I had to learn in general about when you're dealing with another person and you're dealing with conflict or just a difference. And it's like, this is my family. Like they can't not be in my life. So
hmm.
I need to figure out a way and have a conversation with them. And then if they're unwilling to listen, well, then we do approach it differently. So I'll give people advice in that sense. A lot of times it is people reaching out who they've been watching my content for the last few months, or they've been
Yeah,
watching me for years, and
yeah,
or they've been with me since the beginning, and they're like, it's been amazing to see you grow, like us grow together. Like I've seen your confidence just blossom, and it's helped my confidence just blossom. Or today I did this and I thought of you. Like that type of feedback lets me know that what I'm putting out in the world is representative not only of who I am, but it is little by little making the world better.
it
And
is. Yeah, yeah.
thank you.
There's just things you do to the fact that you are so expressive physically and that you let yourself dance in front of the camera. Because
Yeah.
I know there are a lot of women of all sizes who just are afraid to move their bodies, that whole home that we are talking about. It can be so flexible when you want it to be. I've seen some of
Yes.
your dance moves and I'm just like, look at that. That is so nice. No, it's really, really great. And I guess I have another question for you also about, because we live in this whole diet culture, you know,
Yes.
are you actually, before we go into the diet culture, I want to talk about your book because we haven't brought up the book. And I was so
Yes.
impressed with that book because what you told me is that up until the last few years, maybe a lot of brands did not offer plus sizes to women. And so you went out and researched and compiled how many brands into this book of yours?
225
Yeah.
and counting, Anita. I cannot stop coming across more brands. And so it's called the Plus Size Brand Bible, and it is a resource for women who are looking to either begin their style journey, elevate their style, or just want to stop shopping at the same 3 to 5 brands. And that's where it started for me because I felt like I was shopping or promoting like the same brands. And when I went onto this journey, it was really just me trying to push against a limiting belief that I had, which was this is all that's out there. I'm never going to find this style. I'm never going to be able to try this or try that because it doesn't exist in my size. So I literally started the journey with the goal in mind. And when I came across all these brands, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to like share this with people
Compile it
because
all. Yes.
yeah, I put it all together. When I tell you I did it in like 3 weeks, that's how excited I was about it and how excited I was to get it in other
And
people's
it's
hands.
selling. Is it on Amazon or where can we
It's on.
find it?
I just put it on Amazon. It was an ebook before,
Uh-huh.
but it is available on Amazon now, and you can have it like in living color, flip through it, write in the margins, underline stuff, write
That's
your notes.
great.
Like I want people to see it as a guide and a resource that they can go back to time and time again. Where if they're looking for a wedding or they're going on vacation to the beach, we have an index in the back that, I've organized all the brands by aesthetic, by budget, by occasion, and by size range.
My
Yeah.
goodness.
And
That's just really incredible. And again, as we started to talk about diet culture, this is
mhm,
something that pushes back against it. So
yeah,
on the one hand, they can go to the dentist's office and there's all these skinny models in the magazine that's on the coffee table there, or they can log on to your ebook or have a copy of your book and get a completely different reality
Yes, to see
presented to
all the
them.
brands because there's so there, and that's why I say I keep coming across more because when I first launched it, you had a lot of people who were very happy with it, and then there were some people who were like, "Well, this doesn't solve plus size fashion." And I'm not trying to solve plus size fashion. That's a systemic issue. But I
Right.
do think that like giving brands, because a lot of brands who make plus size clothing, and when I say plus size too, I'm not talking about the extra larges, the extra extra larges up to a size 20. I'm talking about the brands who are making clothes up to a size 32, even
Mm-hmm.
up to a size 40. Like the brands who are truly making inclusive fashion, a lot of them don't have the budget that the Targets and the Walmarts and the Old Navies of the world have. A lot of them are small mom and pop shops. They don't pop shop. A lot of them are small mom and pop shops
Right.
who don't have the funding to get a brick and mortar store. So I just wanted to make
So
those
good.
brands, yeah, the
Really promote
accessibility,
them and
right?
help them
And the
because they're
exposure.
obviously trying to do something to help the world too.
Exactly. There's this, we're missing each other, right?
Yeah.
We're
So that's
missing each
really
other.
good. That's so good that people can go to one source for that. So going on and getting back to the idea of diet culture and the latest thing that's come up on social media a lot is Serena Williams and how she's promoting a specific medication, right, that has allowed
Yes.
her to lose weight. And what I've seen is a lot of people, they put her side by side, Serena before, this amazing world class athlete, one of the best that's ever lived, and then the dieting Serena. And a lot of people comment with simple little things like, I like the first model, I like the original better
Mm.
than, it's very interesting to see what people's comments are.
So this is one of those conversations, Anita, that there's a lot of nuance.
Yeah.
And the internet doesn't like nuance.
Yeah.
But I've got to do this conversation justice. I have to be clear in the way that I say this, and I have to talk about this with care because one thing I said at the beginning of this call is I am a fan of body neutrality and body autonomy. Body neutrality being I'm focused more on what my body does for me and can do for me, not how it looks. Body autonomy being you should be able to do whatever you want with your body.
Right.
So with this, I want to say that, and give me 1 second. I want to look at my notes because, like I said, I'm very this is
I
very
think it's
important to
really
me to speak
important too,
correctly.
because I'm not wanting to be critical of her either because of her body autonomy. She can do, my
Exactly.
God, she's ruled the tennis court. She can rule fashion. She can do whatever she wants. But I've
I
been
might,
interested in it.
because I kind of wrote something down. I might look at my notes a little bit and like
That's
jump
fine.
back to the camera stuff because
That's
I want to
fine.
say this correctly. So before we talk about Serena Williams, I think it's important for me to share, and I've shared this on my channel. I am actually on a weight loss drug. And I think for a lot of people, it's like, wait, oh my gosh, what? Like we just had this whole conversation about loving your body and this and that. I don't, for me, and I'm going to get into it, but I don't think that it is the antithesis of that because it took me months to even make this decision
Mhm.
to go on the weight loss drug. And I spent a lot of time thinking about it because I was like, at my highest weight, right, which was 425 pounds. I'm not a cute plus or a small fat as they call it. Like I was a plus, okay?
Right.
Infinity fat, right? So at 425 pounds, I was the happiest with my body, living my life to the fullest more than any other time in my life. And so for me, it was just I was struggling internally because I was like, why do you want to be smaller? And it goes back to what I talk about with body neutrality, where it's like I'm focused on what my body can do for me.
Right.
Well, at 425 pounds, I have to get a second seat on an airplane if I want to fly. My friend for her birthday, she wanted to go kayaking, and I was so excited. Like, I'm such an adventurous person at heart, and I was so excited to go kayaking. And I couldn't because the kayak weight limit was 300 pounds. So I couldn't do that. If I used to love growing up going to theme parks and riding the roller coasters and this and that, but I can't do those things because of the body that I'm in. I was finding myself having to like check the seating at a restaurant before I went in because I'm like, am I going to fit in this seat? Or just little tiny things like that that a lot of people don't think
Those are
about.
actually big things, and it's all
Well,
about your comfort level. And
There you go.
you're back to living in your home. And sometimes we downsize our homes too.
And it goes back to the goals that you have for your
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Maybe everybody doesn't want to be flying on a plane, kayaking, bungee jumping, skydiving, whatever it is. I do.
But yeah.
I have to think about, okay, going back to that body neutrality, what do I want my body to do for me? And at 425 pounds, it was hindering me from being able to do certain things. So the decision for me was about access,
Right.
wanting access to be able to do the things that I would like to do with my life and live my life in the way that I would like to live it.
Yes, yes.
So when you see celebrities like Serena Williams, and I do have to make a little caveat here because Serena Williams is not just a celebrity, she is a celebrity athlete.
Right.
And I think that is also something that for a lot of people is challenging to see a celebrity athlete now admit that they are taking GLP-1s, which I get all the emotions about this because it's her body, her choice. If she feels like she needs to lose weight or she wants to lose weight, I think I read an article and she said that she was struggling to lose weight after having her second child. I feel like any woman can understand, any person can understand, well, I was here and I liked when I was here and I just want to get back there.
Mm-hmm.
I think anyone can understand that. What is challenging or where we kind of see the diet culture come into the narrative and or into the conversation surrounding Serena Williams is in the marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And go back to the power of words, the power of marketing. The problem is in the marketing.
Right.
When you have a world-class athlete like Serena Williams marketing GLP-1s, it sends the wrong message. Her taking them, again, her body, her choice, body autonomy. I'm all for it. It's just the marketing behind it during the time that we're in that for a lot of people, it's troubling. And I really think that we do have, that's the conversation I'm seeing had online. Some people are like, it's her body, her choice. And other people are like, we get that, but this is saying a lot to a lot of women. And I think it also underscores that diet culture impacts all of us.
Right.
Whether you are the literal standard, like I keep saying, because I'm like, Serena Williams, like her body has always been tea. Like she is that girl.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, when you see her marketing and telling you should be this did this for me, right? And marketing this drug and almost marketing it in a way that's like it's a miracle drug and like discounting like the different side effects, the need to consult with your doctor and be very careful about how you take this. I think that's where we have a problem.
I think the message from the marketing that I have found it all troubling is that it feels like it almost feels like proselytizing, like religious, in a way. And believe me, I've had people try to convert me to their religion numerous times. And it's like, and I think especially with women who question their body and question, how do I was feeling comfortable, but then they get a message. I was starting to feel good. And then they get a message that says, yes. Oh no, you need to do this and this because this will make you feel better. So that's where you come in. That's where this message that you're always bringing out to women online, that's where your work is. You've got your work cut out for you, Ellie.
Well, this is also why I keep underscoring that access. So I've lost almost 100 pounds with the GLP-1s. And I said, if I do this, I want to be sure that it's thoughtful. I'm not yo-yoing. We're not doing weight cycling. We're not doing yo-yo dieting. We're not cutting out food groups. Like I was very strict about how I was going to go about this from a mental perspective.
Yes.
To be sure that I'm protecting my body and my mind. And for me, I don't intend on not being plus size. I just want to be a plus size where the things that I want to do are accessible to me.
Yes.
And I feel like that's the other almost friction that people have when they see Serena Williams promoting this. It's like, what can't you do? What can't you do in the body that you have right now?
Right.
And I think that's the frustration just in general that we have with our body. We keep feeling like diet culture keeps telling us we need to shrink, we need to shrink, we need to shrink. But if there's nothing that your body is keeping you from being able to do, if this isn't a health thing, then why? Are you asking yourself why you feel like you need to lose weight?
Yeah. Yeah.
I do want to make it extremely clear that we are up against a system, not Serena Williams. She is not the problem here. She's not the villain in this story. We are up against a system. That's what needs fixing. That's what's telling women your body needs to change, not Serena Williams.
Right.
It's the system that doesn't allow for more than one beauty standard. And so if we're going to push back against that, then we have to keep advocating for bodies of all types. Like Anita, you even said that, you're not plus size, but I encourage you. And I think that's, it's the beautiful thing though about when we allow more bodies to be, like when we see more bodies represented, we see more bodies around us. You've got a size 20 woman, right? Size 24. I'm a size 24 now, right? A size 24. And I'm over here encouraging people who are size 2. It's like, wow, if she can love herself in this body, if she can do all these things in this body, why am I sitting here worried about eating a burger or a sandwich or any carbs? Why am I sitting here starving myself?
Right.
So it's just interesting how when you bring in that diversity, when you bring in that representation, it truly helps everyone, not just the plus size community. Mm-hmm. The work that I do online and so many other amazing plus size creators do online, it's helping women of all shapes and sizes.
This is for all of us, that all women need this encouragement. And all women need to feel completely at home in their body and make the choice for themselves of where they want to be with that body, how big, how small, how they dress, all of it. And we deserve that. That's what it comes down to, is that we deserve that freedom. So, Ellie, it's been really, really nice talking with you. I'm so inspired, and I'm going to let's stay in touch. And we'll come back to you in 6 months or a year or something and see what you've done to reinvent yourself or to continue with your evolution.
Thank you so much for having me, Anita. I truly, truly appreciate this opportunity and just the conversation, right? Like if I had to say what I'm navigating with the name of your podcast right now, I am navigating diet culture. I'm navigating social media. I'm navigating living at home with my parents. I am navigating, these are the little bitty things that all will make up my journey in life.
And it's also a journey that many people share with you. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Mwah. Take care.
Hi, I'm Anita Casalina, host of the podcast Navigating, where I talk with people about how they are finding their way through these challenging times. Navigating couldn't happen without you, so please be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, which you can find by searching Navigating Podcast or with the links we provide in every episode description and social media bio. And if you're subscribed now, you may want to turn on the bell for notifications of the latest episodes and clips. If you like Navigating, let us know. Tell us in the comments and share with your friends. All of this helps Navigating continue to grow so we can bring you more valuable conversations. And as always, thanks so much for watching.